Good evening and welcome to the confirmation show. Yay! This is now, let's see, the fourth attempt of me recording this week's episode. I'm losing track. For some reason, it just didn't work. So I'm going to try it again. And then if it doesn't work this time, then we're going to try something completely different. So when I first recorded this yesterday, it was Earth Day. Yay! Happy Earth Day. 50 years. Wow. Who knew? So let's just jump right into things, and hopefully we won't have any technical difficulties. All right, a few announcements. This is the season finale of the confirmation show. Sad face. Also a reminder, worship notes and reflections are due on Monday, August 31st, 2020. Confirmation camp. Are we going to go? I don't know. We are waiting to hear from Carol Joy Holling on that, so stay tuned. We'll let you know as soon as we hear from them, and I'll be in conversation with Pastor Nesto and Heidi, and we'll figure it out. We will let you guys know. If we don't go to camp, I'm still going to offer I'm going to offer some curriculum on Martin Luther. We'll probably just do a confirmation show, maybe 1 or 2 episodes, but we'll figure that out. But I do have a plan B in case we can't go to confirmation camp. I wish we could have camp online. That would be fun. And also we are saying see you later to our second year friends. Oh, they'll still be around. It's just that they'll be confirmed on Reformation Sunday. And then also when the school year starts, they will start going to youth group with the high school kids. So because they will be high school kids. So, but we can still say hi, and they can stop by and visit and all that fun stuff. And maybe we could do another activity with the high school kids, like maybe play Gaga Ball or something like that. So we'll see. Stay tuned. So we're going to talk about Stewardship of Treasure, our last unit in this series on stewardship. And our text is from Malachi chapter 3, verse 10. Bring the full tithe into the storehouse so that there may be food in my house, and thus put me to the test, says the Lord of hosts. See if I will not open the windows of heaven for you and pour down for you an overflowing blessing. And I remember one thing. The Bible has a different view of money and possessions than that of the world. Ultimately, possessions are meaningless. They can never satisfy people who love them. They bring not a better life, but a restless dissatisfaction and desire for more. So one thing I'd like you guys to do for this week is listen to this song called Treasure by Gary Chapman. It's a very good song. I think it's a good song. You can find it on YouTube. And I want to ask the following questions. Ponder this. Who is the treasure that Gary Chapman sings about? And also, how does this song make you feel? In your handout for this week, I have included a link to his song on YouTube, and I also included the lyrics too. So take a look at that. We were going to do the 10 pieces of candy thing, but because of my technical issues, we're going to skip it. But just so you guys know, I do have 10 pieces of candy here. Ooh, candy. Ooh, candy. Oops, making a mess. But instead of talking about the candy, we're going to talk about what a tithe is and an offering. Those are nice biblical churchy words. So a tithe is an Old Testament custom of showing appreciation to God by setting aside 1/10 of all the flocks, fields, and produce. And the prophets were very clear that withholding a tithe was robbing God. Yikes. So then what's an offering? Well, an offering is anything over the tithe. I think I'll bring in the candy just for fun. So I have this beautiful candy dish. Ooh, my parents gave it to me. I want to say it was a Christmas present. It's very pretty. I love it. And in this candy dish, I have exactly 10 pieces of candy. I have Heath. I've got a Heath bar. I love those. I have these sugar-free peanut butter things from Russell Stover. Those are very good, believe it or not. And then my new favorite thing, Dark Reese's peanut butter cups, thin. Ooh. So I have this bowl of candy, 10 pieces exactly. So let us imagine that in this bowl is, let's just go back into time. Let's say we're in the Old Testament time. Oh, don't break the bowl, Leah. The Old Testament time. And let's imagine that this candy represents all the flocks, the fields, and the produce. So I have to give 1/10 of all that, 1/10 of those things to God. So let's just say here's one. We'll just say this is flocks, fields, and produce. And I'm going to give that to God. So that's going to God. That is the tithe. Now I decide that I want to give extra. So that'd be the offering. So I decide to give God a few more things. So that is an offering. So one thing I want you guys to think about is I want you to look at Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. And I want you to think about how does this text from Malachi, how do we interpret this today? Because we live in a very different context than they did back in the Old Testament, even in Jesus's time. Their economic system was very different from ours. You know, in our world, you go to work, you make money, you have a paycheck. But their world, a little different. So I want you to think about, how would we read as modern listeners, modern readers of the Bible, how would we interpret this text from Malachi today? All right. So this is a great time in the video to pause and do your home huddle. I encourage you to do that. And now we're going to go to our wrap up. So a reminder, our theme verse is Malachi 3:10. Bring the full tithe into the storehouse so that there may be food in my house, and thus put me to the test, says the Lord of hosts. See if I will not open the windows of heaven for you and pour down for you an overflowing blessing. And remember one thing, the Bible has a different view of money than that of the world. Ultimately, money is meaningless. It can never satisfy people who love it. It brings not a better life, but a restless dissatisfaction and desire for more. Being a Christian does not mean you need to hate money. However, when money becomes the main focus in a person's life, it blocks out the important things in life, such as love, service, character, worship, etc. God tells us that God will never leave us. That's a guarantee that money can't match. All that we have is a gift from God, our life, our world, and our possessions. How will you use the things and money that God has entrusted you to share the good news of Jesus? So, another part of stewardship, and our wonderful curriculum didn't talk about this, but I wanted to kind of add this too, especially since it's the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. So another aspect of stewardship is caring for creation. God has called all of us to be stewards of creation. And we learn this by reading the story in Genesis 2, and it's verse 15 specifically. It states, the Lord took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to till it and keep it. I would also argue that God gave Eve the same direction. So Adam and Eve were called to be stewards in the Garden of Eden, and we are called to that too. Ours is the entire world. It's a huge undertaking. It's a little overwhelming. I will confess that. So since we are celebrating Earth Day, it's the 50th anniversary, I thought it'd be kind of fun if we kind of did some brainstorming and figure out, okay, well, what are some ways that we can care for creation? So here's a few thoughts I had. So planting trees is always a good thing. Planting flowers. Also recycling, that's one of my favorite things. And also you can reuse things, like repurpose things. Like one thing you can do is you can take a plastic milk jug and you can turn it into a bird feeder and then hang it up outside for our feathered friends. And there's instructions on how to do that online. It's relatively simple. So there's just a few things that you can do to care for creation. All right, well, that is all I have for today. Let us hope and pray that this works. Yay, come on, Zoom, work. Anyway, once again, if you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to email me directly. I'm still reviewing worship notes. I think everybody should have their worship note progress reports by now, but I'm still getting worship notes coming in. Thank you for that. Also, don't forget to do your reflection assignments. I am keeping track of that too. So, and if you have any questions about that, let me know. So I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're staying safe. And that's all for this season. Wow, what a ride it has been, my friends. Well, stay tuned for another exciting season of the Confirmation Show. And hey, maybe I'll be able to do it in front of a live studio audience. Yeah, we can only hope. So take care, and hey, hopefully we'll see you at church. We're still doing drive-in church. If you can't make it to drive-in church, we're still recording it and doing Facebook Live and on the radio and TV, so all that good stuff. So take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.